F9 in your prelim can be an A1 in your O-level if you decide to let it happen. And let me explain. So your prelim papers, I've done a couple like thousands of papers over the past 10 years for both E-Math and A-Math. And one thing that has remained consistent throughout is that prelim papers by far are way more difficult than your normal exams or even the O-levels. So you can think of it as prelim being the final boss. And for good reason. Number one, your school wants you to prepare the hardest for prelim so that, let's say you score a B3 in your prelim, typically students who score B3 in prelim will be able to score an A1, A2 in the O-levels itself. Because if you're able to pull off such a good performance in your prelims, and O-levels is much easier, you typically would be able to get a better grade in your O-levels, right? Assuming that everything remains constant. Now, number two, prelim questions are designed differently from O-level questions. Prelim questions are a lot more demanding, a lot more challenging, right? I run a math tuition center and I personally tutor many Sec 4 students and Sec 5 students and private candidates who take both E-Math and A-Math. And they always come into class not only just doing the practices that I give them, the worksheets that I prepare for class, but they also bring in questions from their school and their prelim papers that they do as extra practice outside of class. And whenever they run through the questions of their prelim papers with me, it is very obvious to me that the questions set in prelims is meant to challenge you and to not give you marks. It's brutal, but it's true. Because it's just so layered. It's so layered to the point that they can test concepts from Sec 1, Sec 2, Sec 3, Sec 4, all within the same question. And you have to connect the dots in your head, how each concept links to one another. And not only that, but you still have to take into account time pressure and taking into account context of the question, especially for real world context questions. And all of that all at once within the same amount of time of, 90 mark paper, 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's just so challenging. And you have to do this 2 times for paper 1, paper 2. So I understand that prelims is by far one of the hardest exams out there. And that's why if right now you didn't do that well in your prelims, if you failed, it's okay. Because O-level is going to be much easier, and not only that, but prelims are usually meant as a wake-up call for you. So if you didn't do well, and you take this wake-up call as a sign to work doubly, triply hard in your study break, you can still pull off a miracle in your O-level. And I believe in you. Because I've seen it for myself and for all my students at my center. Not only just for my Sec 1, but for my Sec 1 as well. Recently, I have a Sec 1 student at my math tuition center. Came in term 2 at an E8, and then now he's an A2 grade within just 1 term. And it's not only just because of my classes, but he put in the effort as well. And it took us just 4 weeks, right? Not 4 weeks, but rather 3 months, about 3 months. So there's about 10 lessons to get him up to speed to an A2. And that's the same thing that you can do for yourself as well.